Hey everybody, just want to share with you guys the differences between the Nakamichi MB1 and the MB1s. As you can see, the MB1 is much larger. It weighs in at 22 pounds, I think, and this weighs in at 12 pounds. Now this is still no slouch by most standards because that's still a pretty big, robust CD player. But this come out about 92, sorry. And this come out around 93 or 94, I think. And so this was basically, if you've heard of the CD Player 1, this is the clone of the CD Player 1. That line of components, the CD Player 1, Cassette Deck 1, etc., they didn't sell as well or something. And for whatever reason, Nakamichi, I guess they didn't match the earlier components, so Nakamichi switched back to the more traditional look of the black components. And so, now, this doesn't quite have the heftiness of a CD Player 1, but they're the same electronically. The CD Player 1 had basically about a 5-pound or 6-pound top, something like that, so it was a little more robust as far as just the cover. But now this is like I say, 12 pounds, and but it's still got pretty good vibration dampening because it's got where it lacks and its sheer mass. When you take the top cover of one of these off, you'll notice it's almost like it's stuck, and that's because it's got these strips. This is vibration dampening not compound, but material. And it basically sticks to the top, and it reduces vibrations pretty well. So that's a pretty innovative thing. And they got it everywhere on it. Now this has it on it, but it has it to a lesser degree. But it doesn't really need it, just due to the, the heftiness of it. But now, as far as let me see, let me check these things. As far as the mechanisms go. This plays more like a regular traditional CD player. You load the disc in, and you can just play one disc at a time, and just like you would in a regular CD player. And if you want to change it, it shifts the disc back here, and it plays it with just the disc right here, much like a traditional CD player. Now this one, when you play the disc, it loads it, and you can play it one at a time, but if you got this right here loaded, you're actually, the discs are kind of like this, much like in the earlier video I showed of the MB10. The discs are kind of stacked. They did that to make it a lot more compact. That's why this is so much more compact. And I'm pretty sure they made a car mechanism pattern directly after this. And if you remember from the MB10 video, that's kind of how it operated, but it did it without even having slots. So, engineering marvel in itself. But this is, like I say, this may be a little better than the MB10 because you got the little trays that might help a little bit vibration. But when you got discs that close together, they're inducing the air movements that close. You're getting a little vibration just being that close to the other discs. So that's one negative to this as far as the sound quality goes. But a more positive note on this is since this has got a car mechanism, this has got probably a better suspension as far as being really close to loud bass. As far as external things go, like somebody tapping on it or external bass, this would probably be better for that just due to the internal suspension. But like I say, micro vibrations, this has definitely got the better mechanism as far as that. In addition to not having discs real close to each other, this has a much bigger disc platter. This sets on the disc, and it takes up a good part of the disc. There may be like an inch it doesn't take up, but what this does when it clamps it like that, it basically reduces the vibration on it quite a bit. It's also got a piece of felt on top of this to further reduce the vibrations. And this it's got much heftier disc clamp than a traditional CD player, but it's not as hefty as that. It just covers just this part of the CD, much like a traditional CD player does. And this is basically using a Sony laser, and this is using a Sanyo laser. This was basically the same mechanism that you had in the super high-end 1000 MB, and this is the same mechanism that you got in the Nakamichi Dragon. And this was a much faster mechanism. This was the world's fastest CD changer at the time. It would change from disc to disc in 2.1 seconds. This was still no slouch. It was like 3.7. This may have been the fastest at one time. But now, as far as the electronics go, this has a fully discrete output section, meaning it doesn't have any op amps in the output section. And this has, they both have the same basic DACs. This board's upside down, but it's got Nakamichi's enhanced linearity 20-bit DACs. And what it is it's each DAC has two sides, and each side is basically a DAC within itself. They're kind of like monolithic designs. And they do it in a push-pull configuration. Then Nakamichi does something else to it, adds some bits somehow. I can't remember exactly how they did it, but it basically turns it into a very low linearity 20-bit DAC. But now it's a PCM 1700. This is the P version, and this is the 1700P N version. Now the N is much like a if you're familiar with CPUs, they bend higher CPUs, for higher clock frequencies, and the top certain percent gets bent a higher CPU frequency. It's kind of the same with this. The better bending DACs get the higher rating, and this is, matter of fact, I think about 5 dBs better sound and noise than this, even though it's technically the same CPU. It's kind of like the old Philips Crown CPUs that were so popular. I can't remember the model number, but you had the Crown, you had the S1, the S2. That was the tiers you had. Kind of the same thing with this. And I think the CD player one had a different external prefix, but it was about the same thing. I think it was a J, and I think you had a K and a J, something like that. But basically, just higher bending DACs, and so this one is definitely better as far as the output section. But this one's still no slouch. Matter of fact, electronically, this is more like the MB2 as far as electronics go, as far as the output section, and MB2 is about equivalent to this as far as the output section. But now this does have a more robust power supply, as you can see. This has got a bunch of Muse caps in the power supply, Nichicon Muse, better regulator, bigger transformer. It's got now what they did here, this little anti-vibration thing on those 4 caps. What that does is it basically turns them into better caps. It's basically reducing the vibration of the cap. A lot of the manufacturers back in the 70s did the same thing, only they glued them to the board to reduce the vibrations, but that kind of bit them into later on as far as repairs, because that glue become conductive. So they quit doing that, but it's pretty neat. Nakamichi kind of held on to that a little bit by putting the vibration dampening on the top of those. They did that with some of their earlier designs, like the OMS7 and OMS7 II, I think, had that as well. But this has just a... as a matter of fact, the main board on this right here is about the same on the MB1 through 4, but they all have different output sections. So that's pretty much the difference on between... Well, actually, there's a lot of difference between the 1, 2, 3, and 4. But it's just kind of incremental steps. Like I think the MB2 has dual 18-bit instead of the 20-bit. So, just a little minor steps down. But they're both great sounding units. You know, your preference might be, I think, let me close this right quick. I think cosmetically, I think I like the little smaller one better. It's just a little cleaner layout. To me, this was a little bit too busy right in here. You know, it just, I mean, still a great looking unit, but, you know, it's bigger. So if you got other bigger components, you know, you might would prefer this. But now I think the CD player series beat them all. I wish they never quit those, but they're all great units. But I may do a comparison between these and the MB10 as well. The MB10 had a totally different DAC. It was Analog Devices DAC, but be interesting to see, you know, which one of those, how they compared as far as sound quality goes. But well, I guess that's about going to do it. But just want to share this with you guys, and y'all have a good one.